Hey guys, AuspiciousAussie here, and welcome to episode 34 of the Local to Global series here with the Canadian Wrestling Coalition. Now, of course, this episode we've got one more go-home show for our TV show, of course, and then we've got Unholy Alliance. I believe that's 4. Yeah, Unholy Alliance 4. So, yeah, let's just start advancing, because I don't think I really have anything to go over. I feel like we kind of went over a lot of things in that last episode. But this episode, we're going to at least continue on with the unstable Angry Gilmore sort of storyline we're going on with. I mean, it's still the same storyline that we've been running for like the last 3 or 4 months, really, with Angry Gilmore, Zeus, and Davis. But we are going to we're going to replay a match, but in storyline purposes, the match is going to be very different to the way it was the first time. What I mean by that is we're going to use Angry Gilmore, and he's going to have a tag team partner that he's already had before, but obviously previously they didn't work very well together. So we're going to book them to come together on this show, on the Go Home show here, and they will be taking on the Golden Goats themselves, which is, of course, Zeus and Davis. Other things we're going to continue on with, John Greed's Open Challenge. I think we're going to potentially give him a victory, because he kind of needs it after because he lost to Graham Gorman on that last show of last episode. So I think he needs something to bring his momentum back up a little bit. Of course, he had a really good angle. I think it was an 85, because I just had a brief little look at the history there. And yeah, so I'm expecting, pretty decent things from John Greed. Like I said, thinking about possibly making him a stable leader at some stage, because he does have that sort of cult leader gimmick. But I'm just not 100% sure who's going to be in it. That's kind of the only problem I'm sort of having at the moment. I was thinking maybe we could go with Jackpot Jordan and Stephen Parker. They could be pretty decent members, but at the same time, they're both kind of old. I don't really see much of a point in putting 2 older members, 38 and I think 35 or 36. I don't really see a point in putting them together with a 43-year-old, if that makes sense. Anyway, we've got Dawn Gemmell, who is a manager. A very, very good manager as well. Okay, well, they're obviously offering her an extension, so it's probably going to be pretty expensive. Yeah, I don't really want to be spending, upwards of 40 to maybe even 50,000 per month for a manager. Doesn't exactly seem all that good. And there was also this girl as well, Elizabeth Cartier, who's also pretty popular, a little bit lower with the entertainment skills, but she's actually out of contract now. So what we could do is either get her on $25,000 per month, or we could just go $700 per show. It might be worth, I mean, obviously she's on maternity leave there, which is pretty rough considering that, US Pro have let her go. But once that's up in the next 9 months, we might be in a bit of a better position to get a manager in for somebody, or at least somebody that actually needs it. Okay, so with that said, I mean, we've got Randy Bumfole here, but again, we're not going to be able to sign him. He doesn't even want to negotiate, so that's fine. We'll delete all those, and hopefully we're up to date. Yeah. All right, so let's get into the first show. Probably going to be a bit of a shorter episode. One other thing, I can't remember on the last episode. Did we book our new pay-per-view carrier? I can do that by going to events. No, I can't. Okay, never mind. All right, we are going to be in... We need to do some meddling first as well. Actually, did we meddled all our issues? No, we didn't. I thought we did. We're close. Just Ray and Sinner. And they just don't want to be friends. They don't even want to really be acquaintances with each other. Okay, so let's go to Ottawa, because Ottawa is our second biggest sort of area in Ontario. And of course, Toronto is going to be where the pay-per-view is going to be held. All right, so let me book the main event first, and I'll tell you what we're going to do in regards to angles. So it is going to be the Golden Goats. They are going to be taking on Angry Gilmore, but he's going to be teaming up once again with Graham Gorman. Now, we're going to have an angle on the show where Gilmore approaches Gorman, and they're going to have a bit of a discussion with themselves. And essentially what they're going to do is try and work things out. Okay, so we're going to go with those winners and losers. I think that's the most beneficial thing we can do, I would assume. It's going to be decisive. I kind of want to keep Davis strong, but at the same time, actually, you know what? It doesn't really matter if he loses a little bit of popularity, because he'll get it back so easy, and he'll only lose like a maximum of probably about 3 or 4 points. And even then, he might not lose anything if the match is potentially good enough. And of course, he's not also taking the pinfall. All right, so John Greed's open challenge is going to be himself taking on Uterus Sono, who is going to pop out. Actually, do I want to do Utah? Let's do somebody else. Let's go with the new boy. I know I said I didn't want to give him any losses, but where is he? Zach Powerson. Now, we did increase, or we asked him to increase his size. It's a massive risk. Considering his star quality is already at 90, I potentially just risked, our possible future figurehead. And, yeah, I mean, if it goes down, he's not going to be able to be figurehead. But if it goes up, we'll have an even better figurehead than we potentially already had. So, I don't know. It's kind of the risk versus reward. I'm hoping it's going to pay off. If it doesn't, like I said, it's not the end of the world. It's not the end of the world. We might even still make him the figurehead, depending on what happens. Okay. So for the rest of the show, we wanted to... Actually, let me go back and have a look at the history, because I did want to do... Yeah, okay, so Diaz defeated Stan Manor. So what we're going to do is do Rock and Ryan Turner taking on Primetime Jack Pride, because that is our tag team storyline at the moment. We'll give Ryan Turner the victory. I feel like that's pretty important, considering Diaz already won his match. So we don't want to make the champions look weak. The open challenge will go on first. I then think we want to maybe have... Let's have the crew beat some... I guess, for lack of a better term, they're going to be jobbers, but they're not really jobbers. So let's go red, white, and blue, and they can team up with Bowden Snoop, and they can take on the crew. So it'd be Kavanaugh, Harper Swole, and Public Enemy. Be our storytelling match as well. Perfect. Let's give Harper Swole the victory. I mean, we obviously could go Kavanaugh, but I mean, if we're booking for more of a long-term history, which we obviously are, a long-term progression, I guess, would be the best way of saying it. We're booking to, progress to global, which is obviously our goal, and we want to do that, or we have to do that by, raising up our younger stars. And in saying that, let's not do that. What's Jackpot's popularity? 55. Let's go Stephen Parker against Uterus Sono. Give that 10 minutes as well. Booking a lot of singles matches here, I realize, but this one I think we're actually going to go the opposite way. But it is going to be a tainted victory with a distraction onto Stephen Parker by Ozzie Goldstein. We'll chuck that on Edmonton as well. All right, so Parker's unhappy, but what we'll do is we'll just we'll keep him strong. That should hopefully, yeah, there we go, relieves him of his issue. Okay, so with all that said, let's book a few angles because I feel like it's pretty important and it needs to be. All right, so we need an angry Gilmore angle, obviously with Graham. Graham's not going to do any talking, so it's purely just going to be Gilmore. This will all make sense in a second. But they will get some success from the storyline because obviously they're essentially aligning themselves with each other properly like they should have done all those weeks ago, about a month ago, whenever it was, to take on, well, when they were taking on the Golden Goats originally. So that'll go there. Then I think we'll go, once again, John Greed. John Greed's open challenge. Let's go his weekly open challenge. Yeah, because I think I want to make it like a weekly thing, where he just comes out, issues an open challenge. I guess similar to maybe John Cena's United States title open challenge that he had. But obviously, it's more just John Greed. You know, he's a veteran worker. He's essentially, I guess in a weird way, it would be like Kurt Angle when he issued an open challenge to anyone, and then John Cena came out. Kind of the way it originally went. All right, so what else do we need to do? We need to do an angle. Let's do a Golden Goats angle. So let's go Davis and Zeus. That can obviously go before the main event. Just trying to think of what else we actually need to do. I mean, that's basically the gist of the whole show right there. I guess maybe we could go. Let's go Ozzie Goldstein onto Stephen Parker once again. I think we're gonna do a final match between these two. I know I said that the last one was gonna be final, but I think for this one, I don't know. I did success. We have no actual storyline between the two, but I think one final match, and then obviously Goldstein will essentially become the #1 contender from the pay-per-view itself. Okay, so we need at least another match. I feel like a tag match on this show is kind of lacking at the moment. Let's go Young and Wasted, and they can take on, yeah, Los Hermanos 2, that's fine. Give it 10 minutes. Brett Kyle's obviously going to be the winner in that one. And there we go. Okay. And that can basically go anywhere. And I would kind of like it to go down there, though. Yeah, we'll put it down here. Should I give Young and Wasted and maybe them an angle together? They're not the best talkers in the world, but I mean, it's probably not going to hurt them to actually have an angle together. And I guess we will probably make them our #1 contenders after the pay-per-view match itself. So let's do that. Kind of like that. We've also got to, I guess that'll probably happen after, but we're going to basically split up Feel Good Inc. I talked about it a little bit on a few episodes ago in the comments, but it's essentially going to be the game plan there for those two, and it's obviously going to lead towards our mid-card title sort of storylines that we're going to go with in the future. Anyway, that looks pretty good. We're at 119 minutes. So let's do another pre-show match. For this one, let's have Giant Brody team up with Doc Hammond, and they can take on Feel Good Inc. Just a 12-minute pre-show match. And once again, we're just going to give Brody the victory. We are still trying to continue to build up Giant Brody and at least make him or keep him as a big dominating heel. Giant Brody's he's really good for a big man as well. Like 82 psychology, 80 something basics. Yeah, 82 psych, 82 basics. 72 selling is really big for a giant of his size. Anyway, let's run the show. All right, so we start off with a 62 rated pre-show match where we have Giant Brody and Doc Hammond defeating Feel Good Inc. in 11:55 when Giant Brody pinned Zippy Deverell with a single-handed chokeslam. It's a good match. Nothing more needs to really be said about it. It's kind of just a pre-show. And we almost got 7,000 people for this show. Anyway, we kick things off with an 84, so 1 point away from that blue rating. But yeah, we have John Greed once again coming out and, of course, issuing his weekly open challenge. As you can see, he was superb, working without a script. And he's also getting better at his gimmick as well. That's pretty beneficial. Anyway, his match, it's not the best in the world, but, I mean, it's kind of understandable, considering who he's versing. But we get a 50 rated match here, where we have John Greed defeating Zach Powerson in 9:33 by pinfall with a crash diet. And unfortunately, John Greed seemed off his game, so not exactly good when your sort of main worker in the match, is going to be off his game. Not going to be able to carry the sort of younger worker with a lot less popularity. Okay, we then go into a 97 rated angle. And of course we have Angry Gilmore. And of course he runs into Graham Gorman. Basically asks him to put the past behind them. Because he needs Graham's help for the main event tonight. And of course Gilmore basically says that, Graham himself has had a bit of a troubled history since he's come into the company with Davis and of course, as well, especially with Zeus. And he says that he's willing to work together if Graham is to try and, get a little bit of revenge, get a little bit of, I guess, a little bit of their own pride back because, of course, I think Graham lost recently to Davis. And of course, well, obviously Angry Gilmore lost to Davis and lost his title at the same time. Alright, so Angry Gilmore was a real star in the segment, and of course, working the crowd well. And of course, he also has a hot catchphrase as well. And we get a 97. Yeah. Anyway, we then go into a 57 rated 6-man tag match where we have the Crew being Kavanaugh, Swole, and Public Enemy defeating Bowden Snoop and Red, White, and Blue in 10:20 when Papa Swole pinned Americana with the Pounce. And of course, Kavanaugh head and shoulders above everybody else in this match. Good to see Public Enemy with a 39. Not too bad. Okay, we then go into an 80 rated angle. This time we have Ozzie Goldstein. And of course, he's comes out and cuts a promo onto Stephen Parker prior to Parker's match. And basically Goldstein says that, we're gonna face off one last time at the pay-per-view. And the winner of that is guaranteed a world title shot. They will become the #1 contender for the following month's pay-per-view. And of course, Stephen Parker looks a little bit surprised. He looks a bit happy. He looks happy that there are some big sort of stipulation on the line in that match. His match getting a 61 where we have Yujiro Sono pulling off an upset, defeating Stephen Parker in 10:02 by pinfall after using a foreign object. And during the match, we also had Ozzie Goldstein distract Parker. But basically, Goldstein was distracting Parker. He was up on the apron. The referee's attention was also onto Goldstein as well. And then Deanna Desire slides in a steel chair. Yujiro Sono looks at it and then cracks Stephen Parker over the head once he turns around. The referee obviously still, not really paying attention, more paying attention to Goldstein. Basically telling him to go to the back, ejecting him away from ringside. And yeah, the Sono essentially cheating to win there. Of course, with the help of Deanna Desire, his girlfriend. Pretty good, obviously there's not a lot of storyline between these two. But basically it's just a Sono. Well, Desire wants a Sono to start winning again. So she's kind of adopting an attitude and trying to implement, the fact that cheating's okay if you win. There we go. We then move into a 57 rated angle. Unfortunately, both members of Young and Wasted, not really doing too well without a script here. I probably should have scripted them, considering their entertainment stats and their microphone ability is only about 50. So I'll make sure if we give them another angle. But even still, a 57 for these two guys is actually not too bad. You know, they also got an off-script penalty, so yeah, not too bad. Leading into their tag match, which actually does pretty good. We get a 63, and we have Young and Wasted defeating Los Hermanos 2 in 10:03 when Brett Kyle pinned Ray Cavalero with a shooting star press. Yeah, just a really good tag match, to be honest. Of course, Taylor and Kyle getting a tag team specialist bonus. Of course, Gabriella doing good work at ringside, and Ray Cavalero benefiting from his hot new move. All right, we then go into our sort of tag team title storyline. We get a 60 rated match here, and we do have Rock and Ryan Turner defeating Primetime Jack Pride in 9:40 by pinfall with a 6-string shooter. Getting a little bit of revenge. Like I said, we did have James Diaz defeating Stan Manor on the last episode. So, yeah, enacting a little bit of revenge here for Ryan Turner. All right, we then go into the pre-main event angle, which gets an 85 rating. Of course, we have the Golden Goats. And they basically say that they're going to beat both Gilmore and Gorman tonight. And, yeah, they're still best friends, happy as can be. And, of course, Davis is the unified world champion. And our main event does really, really well. We get an 86 rating here. And we have Angry Gilmore and Graham Gorman defeating the Golden Goats in 16:04. And Graham Gorman pinned Zeus Maximilian with a Gorman aghast. Really good stuff. Really good match here. Everyone was actually pretty, decently performed. We have Zeus with an 80, which seems pretty ridiculous. We got a 93 there for Davis. Graham's got a 75, so he's definitely starting to get up there. And then Angry Gilmore, a 71's, that's about what you would need to expect from Angry Gilmore at this point in his career, so I'm pretty happy with it. Pretty happy. Okay. That's a solid main event as well. All right, we finished the show. We get an 84 rated show here for our go home. Once again, increase. I think that might be is it our second ever highest show? We'll check that in a second, but I think it might be. Once again, 56 regions. But yeah, let's take a quick look at the top 100, our sort of history of the company. And I'm thinking that might be, I think that's our second best ever match. And I'm assuming it's either the second or third best show. I think we did get an 86 rated show. Anyway, we've got Mighty Kavanaugh here with an opinion. And he thinks that Taylor Norton isn't tough. Okay, apparently we should release the kid and find a new worker, even though he's on a 10-year contract. Great job, Kavanaugh. Anyway, we get almost 284,000 viewers there for Coalition Wrestling as well. So that's a pretty decent go-home show. I'm very happy with that. Very happy. Anyway, let's check CWA real quick. And they got a 98 rated main event for themselves. But apart from that, yeah, that was their only really decent match. I mean, they had an 84 there as well, which is pretty good. And their overall show rating was actually an 89, so there we go. Good to see that we're only about, well, where were they? They were in Saskatchewan. Okay, that kind of makes sense. I was wondering why their attendance was so low, but they weren't sort of in a main region. Ooh, would you look at that? Would you look at that? 70 popularity in Ontario. I almost misspoke there. Yeah, 70 popularity in Ontario. Nice. It's really nice to see that green as well. I'm having some feelings that that's probably going to stay at around 70. Maybe it might get up to maybe 72, depending on how good our shows are going forward. But it's going to take a long time to sort of increase our popularity in Ontario. We're up to 49. I think we're already on 49 in Quebec. Yeah, I think from last episode. But the main region we're sort of focusing on is, of course, Alberta. And we need Alberta to get up to 35. So we can get our pay-per-view deal. Let me just check that. We did actually change our deal. Because I remember for WrestleWorld, it did expire in that last episode. Of course, it expired at the end of the month, didn't it? All right. So yeah, that was actually our second best ever rated show with an 84. And then the 83, the Festival of Violence, it's just behind that. And of course, our best ever show was that 95 rated main event, which we can see here. Which is interesting because that was actually the exact same match. I didn't realize that. Okay. Why was this one not as good? Interesting. Yeah, that's a weird one. I mean, I'm not really too bothered by it. I probably should have checked. I didn't even realize that was our best ever match. Anyway, there goes my phone. You just chuck that on silent real quick. Okay, so let's I guess let's just start advancing into the pay-per-view itself. Now this one, obviously, we've got a lot of booking to do, as you would with any pay-per-view, but this one in particular, I feel like I wanted to, basically what I wanted to do, well, we already know the title matches, and then I think we're going to do a John Greed Open Challenge to open the show, in which he will take on Yujiro Sono. So I guess that's 3 matches. Well, technically 4 matches, because we've also got the mid-card title. We're finally going to bring in the mid-card title. So we'll do that as well. Booking position available. EMLL. Interesting. They're a medium-sized company as well. That's pretty crazy. I'm going to have a quick look. Who's Heavy Metal Anarchy? Okay, so he was with south of the border. Yeah, I was just a little bit curious there. Anyway, let's have a look. Okay, so what we need to do first of all is create our new title. Of course, it's going to be the Canadian, essentially the national title. We might change its name at some stage, but for now, I think we'll just stick with the Canadian. Of course, it's also got some more CGC sort of heritage with it. Singles is going to be a secondary level title. And I mean, I guess everything else is kind of fine. All right, and our competitors are Zombie Boy and Marco Gonzalez for that as well. So let's get into it. All right, so we got once again Edmonton. I need to sign Edmonton to a proper contract. I've had enough. All right, so Zombie Boy being brought before Wrestlers Court here as well, getting a small positive impact, so that's beneficial. We need to chuck. This will actually be our first ever pay-per-view or event, if you will, being shown on OnDem. So that's you know, it's kind of pretty cool. We're also expecting 34,500 fans. That's pretty bad. Well, it's pretty good, but pretty bad considering that, you know, our TV shows were only getting about 7,000. And if we were still running 4 events per month, we would be absolutely raking in the money. Anyway, doesn't matter. We wanted to do things properly. Okay, so our first match, let's just book the world title match. What am I doing? Angry Gilmore. There he is. Did Davis lose any? No, see, he didn't lose any popularity, despite losing that main event. Of course, the unified world title on the line. Robinson to road agent, unfortunately, but Yeah, this should be a pretty good main event as well, I'm thinking. Anyway, up next we'll do the tag titles. Of course, not a team taking on the Rock City Stars. Do we want to give this one? I don't think we can. We'll just give it 12. And we'll give Stan the victory. And yeah, unfortunately for Jack Pride, he is gonna be the loser in this match. It's unfortunate for him, but at the same time, there's no way I can really have Diaz losing a match. All right, up next we'll do our freshly created mid-card title. So Gonzalez going to be taking on Zombie Boy. We'll give this one 20 minutes, I think. I mean, it's going to have to be scripted anyway, so that's fine. But I think we'll give them a decent amount of time. Like I said, it is our first ever Canadian title match, so let's really go out there and give it something. Okay, so we're gonna go this way. But we're gonna have a lot of involvement in this match. So it's gonna be scripted, it's gonna be slow built, it's gonna be tainted. And then we're gonna have interference galore, basically. So Gonzalez is gonna be attacked by Sinner and Lester. And then Zombie Boy is of course gonna be attacked by Ray and by Luis. Okay. There we go. Canadian title on the line. I like the look of it. All right, up next, of course, we have the open challenge from John Greed. And like I said, I was going to do a Sono on the Go Home show, but I think having him on the pay-per-view is probably a bit of a better move. Unfortunately, it's not going to be successful for a Sono on this occasion. And basically, he's going to be out-cheated, is what's going to happen. He's going to be out-cheated by the veteran, John Greed. So that's John Greed's open challenge. Also, the pay-per-view is only 2 hours long. Is it, or is it an hour and a half? I feel like that's an hour and a half. That's not good. Anyway, what other matches do we have? I don't really know. Oh, sorry, we have the Stephen Parker. I knew I was forgetting one of them. So Stephen Parker taking on Ozzie Goldstein. There we go. I mean, this one should essentially be 20 minutes as well. I think I'm going to reduce the Canadian title match. I know I should probably give it 20 minutes, but they're just not main eventers, so it doesn't really make a lot of sense. I might give them 13 or something a bit more special. We'll give them 14. How about that? I feel like 14's a decent amount of time for them to go at it. Let's take this. We'll get rid of the slow pace. And then we'll drop that down to 14. There we go. I feel like it's just a little bit better. Just that little bit. Alright, what else have we got? How much time are we at? We're at 84 minutes and we haven't actually done any angles. Alright, so we're going to make this the storytelling match. And yeah, I guess we're just going to book angles, to be honest. Apparently Stephen Parker is being slightly overused. Interesting, he's got 50 popularity. I wouldn't really expect it to be like that. Anyway. Alright, so Angry Gilmore, he's going to be the pre-main event. And then I think we'll give... No, make that storytelling. I thought I did. Anyway, I guess I didn't. What are our other problems? Robinson. I guess this match can be Art Reed. That's fine. So yeah, Goldstein needs an angle as well. And he's going to basically say that he's now the #1 contender. Now, I really want that to be Robinson as well. That'll come after his match. I guess we'll make the tag title match between the Rock City Stars and Not a Team. We'll make that road agented by Art Reed. I probably should. I know a lot of you guys have been asking me to make Angry Gilmore a road agent. So I guess we essentially could do that if I can click on his name properly. Maybe I can't do it right now. Or is it in here? It's in here, isn't it? No. There we go. Okay. Can I not make him a road agent? Okay, I think I have to talk to him first, then ask him to be a road agent. Alright, there we go. Alright, he's accepted. Perfect. So he'll be a really good road agent. I thought I could just select it. Maybe I needed to actually select it properly. Oh no, he's already there. Okay, perfect. Okay, so with that being said, I mean, I guess I could basically make him road agent some of these other matches as well. Because obviously he's going to be a lot more beneficial than having Art Reed do it, basically. Art Reed can probably just go now. Oh, it was this first match, wasn't it? Okay, so there we go. Alright, I think we need Gabriella Ortega and Marco Angle as well. So Gilmore can do that one as well. We will advance this storyline there. That'll go before there. And then we also need one more angle, but we're losing a little bit of time. So once again, I'm going to have to lower this match from 14 down to 12. Actually, yeah, I do. And then, of course, we'll have the John Greed angle as well to open the show. Let's have Utah and Deanna appear as well. Don't know why I'm doing success. John Greed issues his open challenge. Is surprised when Utah appears. Yeah, we'll go with that. It kind of works. And that'll be our pay-per-view. We'll do a couple of pre-show matches in here as well. But basically, that's pretty much it. So, let's have the crew take on Red, White, and Blue. Of course, they've already kind of versed each other a little bit recently, but be beneficial. I get our Public Enemy to pull off a victory there. That should all be fine. Next pre-show match, I'll just go another tag. Let's go with Doomsday Generation, because they're already being used, and I guess they can just take on Los Hermanos. Kind of makes sense. Of course, there are stable leaders versing each other, so it literally does make sense. I think we'll give this victory to Ray. Actually, let's go the opposite direction. Let's go Wicked Lester. And we're doing that because, obviously, Brothers for Life actually are winning the mid-card title. So in that regard, we kind of want to keep a little bit of momentum with Forces of Darkness as well. So they'll get the victory there. Let's put that one... no, let's go the opposite direction. We'll then have a match between Doc Hammond and Graham Gorman. Should be a really good match. We'll give it 16 minutes as well. Kind of want to see what happens. Obviously, Graham, we're kind of booking him to be the next sort of star that we have. So, that's our problem here. Stones. Okay. easily fixed there. That should probably be on the actual pay-per-view. But obviously we don't really have enough space. Do I want to do another one? Let's go one more match. And let's go. Well, I kind of want to get Zach. I think I want to get Zach Powerson in there. So let's do a 3-on-3. Let's go Mobster, Zach, and Giant Brody to take on Pepper Pelton, Charlie Corner, and Chip Martin. Just a couple of jobbers. There we go. I will actually give the victory to Zach as well. Just to bring his, or potentially bring his momentum back up just a little bit as well. Considering that he was 1 minute too long. Okay. Yeah, just because his momentum would have been affected losing that match on the Go Home show. All right, so we're pretty well set to run the show here. We got 4 pre-show matches, which is almost unheard of on the series so far, but here we go. All right, so we start off with a 54 rated pre-show match where we have Mobster, Zach Powerson, and Giant Brody defeating Pepper Pelton, Charlie Corner, and Chip Martin in 10:42 when Zach Powerson pinned Pepper Pelton with a press power slam. And we have Charlie Corner really off his game. But yeah, Mobster shone in the match. Brody looked good out there. Yeah, I mean, they both actually did pretty well. We had Mobster with a 67, Giant Brody with a 65 there as well. Moving into the second pre-show match where we get a 50 rating. We've got Doomsday Generation defeating Los Hermanos 2 in 11:44 when Wicked Lester pinned Ray Cavallero with a flying elbow drop. This time we had Original Sinner off his game, which, you know, we've kind of gotten used to throughout the series. Alright, next pre-show match gets us a 49 rating, so we're gradually going down. Hopefully this last pre-show will bring it back up. But we do have the Crew defeating Red, White, and Blue in 12:25, and Public Enemy pinned Blue Dragon with a Tombstone pile driver. Yeah, it's an okay match. Nothing too special. Yeah, I mean, everyone was a little bit average in this one. Obviously, Americana and Upper Swole, they're essentially, you know, doing what they needed to do for their team. But they're obviously trying to carry up their tag team partner, who's not as good as them. And the final, yeah, I knew this one should have been on the pay-per-view. Get a 76 rated pre-show match. We have Graham Gorman defeating Doc Hammond in 16:11 by pinfall with a Gorman aghast. And a nice 74 in-ring performance there from Graham Gorman. Good stuff from Graham. He's not too far off getting a unified world title shot. I would say he's probably next in line behind Goldstein. So we'll have to book towards, maybe we'll run with him and Doc Hammond in a storyline. That could be at least a pretty good way to tide him over for this next month. All right, so we then start the actual show off, the actual pay-per-view off with a 65 rated angle, and of course we have John Greed issuing his open challenge, and he's ultimately surprised when Yuta Usono appears with Deanna Desire just behind him. Unfortunately, John Greed struggled going off script in this one. Pretty unfortunate, because we are sort of accustomed to him, you know, getting 80 plus ratings. So I don't know. I don't know if we should start scripting him. I don't think we should. I feel like this is kind of a, I don't know, I guess a bit of a rare occasion. The match itself, unfortunately, doesn't do very well. We only get a 58 rating for this match here. And we have John Greed defeating Yuta Usono in 9:34 by pinfall, illegally using the ropes for leverage. And as you can see, John Greed was really off his game. So I'm kind of, I have to say, I'm actually regretting putting this on the pay-per-view. For the pure fact that the Doc Hammond Graham Gorman match was far, far superior to this one. This one kind of sucked. Not too good. Anyway, we then move on to a 53 rated angle. Sorry. We have Gabriella Ortega. And of course, she's hyping up her client, Marco Gonzalez, basically saying that he's going to become the first ever Canadian champion here in the Coalition. And yeah, it's a pretty good angle. Again, scripting her. You know, as long as we script her, she's actually pretty good. So I'm pleasantly happy with how this angle's gone. I'm not very happy with how this match has gone. This has been a bad pay-per-view so far. I'm a little bit worried about this one. This is not really what I expected. We get a 43 rating for our mid-card title debut. I mean, obviously there's a good reason for it, but at the same time, I'm not happy. I'm very frustrated. Anyway, all right, we have Marco Gonzalez defeating Zombie Boy in 12:23 by submission with a Latino crab after interference from Ray Cavallero. The match also had a lot of interference. Original Sinner targeted Gonzalez. Wicked Lester attacked Gonzalez. And finally, Louise Frost interfered against Zombie Boy. But we do have Marco Gonzalez winning the CWC Canadian title. Unfortunately, as you can see down here, Gonzalez and Zombie Boy don't seem to click, and it made for an awkward bout. So that really sucks, because I was hoping that this would actually be a 60 and above rated match. And that it would kind of be, I don't know, I guess the beginning of a flourishing mid-card title. But unfortunately, this kind of feels like, well, it definitely doesn't feel like the title's going to be flourishing anytime soon. All right, so we then move into a really, really good match, which we kind of needed. Let's be real. We really needed this match to sort of uplift the actual pay-per-view itself. Get a 79 rated #1 contenders match for our unified world title. And we do have Ozzie Goldstein defeating Stephen Parker in 2019 by pinfall with a golden shower. And of course, Ozzie Goldstein becoming the #1 contender for our unified world title. And of course, we are essentially going to revisit the Goldstein versus Davis Wayne Newton storyline or rivalry that we've had going on since we brought both of them in, you know, probably about 15 episodes ago. It's probably more at this point. But yeah, going to continue. And of course, they're both of their popularities, I think, are the highest they've ever been. So I'm expecting a really good main event, and I'm thinking we might go 30 minutes for that main event as well, which will obviously be at the end of next month. But yeah, that's a really solid, especially the in-ring rating from Goldstein. You got an 82. I know he has a hot new move as well, but that is very, very solid. All right, we then move into his subsequent angle following the match. Gets a 91. So I'm assuming his popularity is going to be very, very high after this pay-per-view. But of course, Ozzie Goldstein comes out, well, he's already out in the middle of the ring, and he says that he is now the #1 contender for the unified world title, and he's basically coming for whoever wins the main event here tonight. Whether it be Davis, whether it be Angry Gilmore, doesn't matter. Goldstein's going to come, going to take the belt away from whoever wins, and at this point, it's really just a formality. And as you can see, he worked the crowd well, using the freedom to improvise to his advantage. Good stuff. All right, we then go into our semi-main event. We have a 65 rated Coalition Tag Team title match. And we have the Rock City Stars defeating Not a Team in 11:40 when Stan Manor pinned Primetime Jack Pride with a rock and roller. And the Rock City Stars make defense number 4 of the CWC Coalition Tag Team titles. As you can see, James Diaz, head and shoulders above everybody in the match, and obviously his tag team partner, Jack Pride, being the weak link. So, yeah, interesting. A nice 67 from Diaz there. So I'm happy with that. They were never going to win the titles. Not a team, because obviously they're not a team. They don't work that well together. The reason why they won the #1 contenders match is because individually, in sort of kayfabe terms, they're actually, you know, top tier young prospects that when they need to, they can absolutely perform. But when it comes down to it, you know, it's a tag team title match that they just don't have the type of cohesion. I know they have excellent chemistry, but in the series terms, they don't have the proper chemistry with each other to be a successful tag team. All right, we then go into a 100 rated angle from Angry Gilmore. I mean, we basically expected at this point. And yeah, he wants to win his title back. And he says that tonight is the night. You know, he's going to get his title back. And I guess he's claiming that the Unified World title is essentially his world title now. Of course, he did lose the CWC world title. And of course, Davis, of course, I know as I said, of course, about 3 times. Davis had the CGC world title that he won the month prior. Okay, here goes the main event. All right, that's really good. I'm super happy with that. That's by far more than enough. That's our second best ever rated match, and it's basically gonna save this pay-per-view because it's been a bit of a stinker. It really has. So a 91 rated main event. We got Davis Wayne Newton defeating Angry Gilmore in 15:53 by pinfall with a fisherman suplex. Davis Wayne Newton, the GOAT himself, making defense #1 of the CWC Unified World title. The thing that pisses me off, Angry Gilmore seemed off his game. Yes, that's right. Gilmore was off his game, and we still managed to get a 91 rated main event here. That is insane. As you can see, he got penalized for inconsistency, obviously being off his game. Stamina and declining physical ability, that's pretty well known. But we actually got penalized for poor color commentary as well, so interesting. All right, let's finish the show. We get an 88 rated show. I wasn't expecting it to be that good. But that is very good. 88. Anyway, I think we have to praise Davis. I think I want to praise Ozzie as well. Really solid performance from him as well. And then let's go Graham. Actually, you know, instead of Graham doesn't really need it. Let's go for Pepper Pelton. I'm only doing that because I know Pepper has morale issues. So there we go. Hopefully, I mean, it's not going to solve his morale issues, but at this point, it would almost be wasting it, giving it to Graham Gorman. Because, you know, he's obviously, he knows he's loved, and he's, you know, got no morale issues or anything like that. So it would literally be pretty pointless. Okay. Alright, apparently Art Reed thinks Chip Martin is going to be a star in his opinion. That's pretty interesting. Okay. We got 285,000 viewers for Unholy Alliance being shown on Dem. I love saying that. And yeah, Tommy Cornell getting an injury. Currently working for SWF. Yeah, interesting. Okay. So one thing I want to do, because I've been really frustrated with it. Do I want to sign Ed Monton? I'm kind of thinking that we don't actually need to sign Ed Monton now. Now that Angry Gilmore's a road agent. He's probably, or he's likely not going to be involved with the world title, the Unified World title. At least for a little while. Because I want to have Goldstein have a go at it. And then obviously, depending on what happens, or what we decide to do with that match, I think it would have to go next to Graham Gorman. And I might throw Zeus in there as well, depending on who's the champion. Actually, now that I think about it, we could actually do Kavanaugh as well, because Kavanaugh had the negative chemistry with Gilmore. So Kavanaugh could come back into the main event scene as well. And I mean, he has 69 popularity, so the more we can get him in before his stamina starts to drop, drastically, I think the better. Because he is very, very talented. Very talented. Yeah. Do I want to get rid of Art Reed? Yes, it's time. Oh, goodbye, Art. I almost feel bad. I almost feel bad getting rid of him. But the fact that Gilmore's now a road agent, I mean, we could literally... We could also make Zeus. Zeus was another sort of recommendation for a road agent. Only has 78 psychology, though. But obviously his experience, respect, and reputation they're all very good as well. All right, so let me actually check. I want to check some popularity here before we end the episode. Ooh, that doesn't look good. I thought he was going to go up. He's only at 65. I mean, it's up 4 points. I shouldn't really be complaining, considering it is actually up 4 points. But I don't know. That seemed like it would have got a bit of a bigger increase. Gilmore, I think he dropped maybe 1 point. No, he's still 85, but I think he actually went up to 86. And Davis is still at an 87 as well. Yeah, and he was 87 to start the month off. Is there anyone else I really need to look at? I don't really think so, to be honest. Yeah, I think that's kind of it. I think going forward, what we need to do, probably in the next episode, is to have Zach Powerson really start to develop. And what I mean by develop is we'll start to push him a little bit. We might just go angles, because I feel like all he obviously needs psychology as well, which is a big problem, but what we want to do is get him up to a decent enough popularity that he can actually start winning matches, by himself. Anyway, what we'll do is we'll advance the 1 day here. I just want to check out what our profit is going to be for the month of May, and then we'll end the episode. Like I said, it's going to be a bit of a short one. Like the way these episodes are working is we're doing 3 TV shows, followed by the next episode, which will be one TV show being the Go Home show, and then of course the pay-per-view itself. But I think we're actually coming up to Wrestle War and Warzone as well. Yeah, so we're 2 months away. We've got Urban Wasteland up next, and then we have Wrestle War and Warzone. Of course, both those events are basically linked together, because of course we used to have Warzone Night 1, Night 2, but we decided to change up the names for a lot of our events. Okay, that's interesting. We're already up to 71 popularity. So in this episode alone, we've actually gone up in Ontario by 2 points of popularity, which is very interesting. We're also up to 50 in Quebec now, so that actually has gone up. Up to 28 in Alberta, so that's gone up as well. We're only 7 points away from pay-per-view coverage. I like that. 36 in Saskatchewan, 48 still. I think we're still 48. Yeah. Oh no, we were 47. Okay. So we're 48 in Manitoba now as well. Just want to quickly check the US. We're actually, I think, pretty close to actually getting a pay-per-view deal in the US as well. I think what we needed, let me take a look here real quick. I think we needed 40 popularity. I can't remember which, yeah. So it's this one, American Option. You need 40 popularity in 10 regions. Now, I say we're close, but we're not actually close. And the reason for that is unfortunately, in America, or the US, there is, 11 regions? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Yeah, so there's 11 regions. As you can see, Puerto Rico is at a 13. So essentially we need to get that up to 40. We nearly got 40 in all the other regions that we would need to, being Tri-State, Southwest, Southeast, Northwest, New England, Midwest, Mid-South, Mid-Atlantic, and the Great Lakes. Some of them are already above 40, as you can see, Midwest, Great Lakes, and the Tri-State. And the rest of them, some of them are in the high 30s, other in the low 30s. But they're all really close, and they'll get there, over time, gradually. But Puerto Rico is the big problem. Now, the issue that we're going to have with all of this is once we actually get the popularity to go onto pay-per-view coverage in Canada, we are going to lose the coverage in America, in the US. So I'm not too sure what's going to happen because I don't think we're going to reach the popularity required. Obviously, we still have the TV show. The TV show is going to be staying on dem. I'm just not sure what's going to happen with this. Obviously, it's another 5 months, so we do have some time still left to go. But I don't think it's going to be enough time to get Puerto Rico up 27 points. Which kind of sucks, because pay-per-view in the US and in Canada would be essentially game over, finances-wise. Anyway, as you can see, we did actually make 498,000, so just shy of our $500,000 mark, which is essentially what we were getting back in February before we started TV. So, kind of goes to show how much we've actually improved. Obviously, the attendances have improved a lot with the TV show. And of course, also the flow-on effect from that as well. The higher attendance from the pay-per-views themselves. Of course, the worker costs have gone up. The show costs have gone up as well. But, we're making more money through merchandise. We're making more money through sponsors as well. It's all looking pretty good in that regard. And of course, the broadcast revenue is a hell of a lot higher as well. So yeah, one thing I do want to do is we'll take a look at merchandise. As you can see, last month's merchandise. Obviously, Davis coming in with the most. Slightly behind him at number 2 is Gilmore. I mean, we're kind of making the most out of both these merchandise deals, which is good to see. Especially the 30,000 there from Davis. So that's pretty beneficial. Pretty beneficial for the company anyway. And of course, we're still in the process of upgrading that as well. The titles, Unified World title up to a 71 prestige, which is definitely up a point. So that's really cool. Since we, of course, merged or unified the 2 world title belts. So yeah, there we go. Anyway, that is it for the episode, guys. Hopefully you enjoyed. Make sure you smash the like button on the video. Show your support for the series. And of course, make sure you subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. Apart from that, as always, take it easy and goodbye.